in Annapolis at the Medicare for All rally with State Senator Jill Carter from Baltimore. Senator Carter, first of all, I want to announce and congratulate you. Our Revolution has endorsed you for Congress in District 7. Congratulations.
Woo! Yeah!
Thank you. I'm so happy. I've been waiting for this.
Of course, our Revolution Maryland.
I'm hoping.
Well, you got it. And our Revolution Maryland has already endorsed you, and we recommended that endorsement. The National reviewed your stellar record and agrees that you are the right candidate to represent Maryland's 7th District in the United States House of Representatives. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you want folks to know, why you are the best candidate in this race.
So I'm the only true progressive in the race. That's been determined by multiple different people and news entities and other endorsements. I immediately embraced Medicare for All agenda in Congress because I've actually supported already in the state of Maryland and actually been an advocate for about 10 years of it. And in addition to that, I am also a very much a champion of the Green New Deal. And for all of my career in the state and my legal career, I've been a civil rights attorney and a champion for civil rights, justice, equality matters. I have been the leader in Maryland on criminal justice reform and juvenile justice reform. We still have a long way to go, but that's something that's a passion of my life. And so when I first became aware of our revolution years ago when I was a Bernie delegate, I always thought, okay, well, these are my Democrats. These are the Democrats I've been looking for.
Yeah.
Because I had a hard time finding them in the state of Maryland before that.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. I'm so happy and excited.
And you know, you didn't mention, I don't think, how much great work you've done on transparency in government and integrity in government, which was also an important factor along with all the other issues that you have been a champion, Senator.
Thank you.
So tell us about that, integrity in government, transparency in government.
So last session, I sponsored a bill that was to bring accountability and transparency to the board of the University of Maryland Medical System, which is our largest healthcare system and receives the most state funding. And what was uncovered is that there were at least 9 members of the board that were amassing a total of, I think, close to $100 million in profits for themselves. They were basically looking at whatever services the institution needed and then providing them with their own businesses or companies. One of them was a former state senator that actually was the sponsor of the legislation that privatized University of Maryland Medical System to begin with. And so as a result of that, the entire board has been replaced. The president stepped down, who was making $4.2 million a year. And also it was uncovered that they were, commingling board business and politics, and so they were. The former mayor Catherine Freed was on the board. They purchased $500,000 worth of her books called Healthy Holly, which got a lot of publicity, and it was uncovered that many of those books weren't even written or published yet, and so of course you know the effects of that the mayor resigned and is now facing indictment and other.
All right, so Senator Carter, you have been, I believe, I'm going to hope I did my math right, 16 years in Maryland's General Assembly, first as a delegate, now as a senator. The natural move is to move to the federal level, to Congress, as you are seeking to do. But there are a lot of big shots in the Democratic Party, people who have long-term institutional, command.
Yes.
What's that like running against these folks who may present themselves as progressive, but maybe they're really not?
I've dealt for a long time and I don't, if it's true, I've dealt for a long time in the state legislature with a lot of what I characterize as somewhat of political phonies, people who contend that they are supporting certain things, but at the end of the day, it's all talk and they don't walk the walk when they're in the office. And so, just looking at the record of, for example, the former congressman that is in the race, it should be apparent that he has not stood up for the very things that he says that he believes in now. There's no other candidate in the race that's embraced I would say, the progressive agenda that I've embraced. And frankly, there's no other candidate in the race that's been in any kind of elected office that has actually championed any of these issues or any of these matters while they've had the opportunity to do so.
So are we in a progressive moment, Senator? I have to say our Revolution Maryland And Baltimore's Sheila Ruth was just appointed by
Yes.
Baltimore
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that was amazing.
Democrats to complete a term in the Maryland House of Delegates. You have endorsed Bernie. Bernie is leading in many polls. Are we now in a progressive place that we have not been in the past?
It looks that way, and that's exciting about Sheila Ruth, and it's also great news that she's replacing Charles Sidnor, who's now in the state senate, who's also a wonderful, wonderful senator and progressive. We are in a great place.
So what was it like? You were at this event. I mean, people should know that Senator Carter walks the walk consistently. We're at a Medicare for All rally here in Annapolis. This represents that when she's in Congress, she's going to be fighting for everyone in this country to have the right, the human right to health care. And I just really want to thank you for doing that and just ask you, I mean, how do you decide these events to come to? What's most important for you?
What's most important in deciding between in the midst of the campaign when you have 1,000 to do? Well, this is an issue. This is an issue that's critical for our time. It's a life and death issue. I think that it's something that needs to be more widespread. Like, we had a great group here, but we need more people here to really understand why this is not only a moral imperative, but I would say it's also a predictive inevitability. As we get more people that understand the issues and fight for them.
Let me just wrap up. This is Hal Ginsberg from Our Revolution Maryland, Our Revolution National as well. Both organizations have endorsed State Senator Jill Carter, who's with me, for Congress. The election is coming up in less than 2 weeks. That's February 4th, Tuesday. You got to get out and vote if you are in District 7. You know how you know if you were in District 7? If Elijah Cummings was
Yes.
Representative the late Elijah Cummings. Any final word about taking on the mantle of someone who's viewed as, who's a champion, a giant in Maryland politics, Senator?
So Elijah Cummings was very powerful, and it's big shoes to fill, but I want to just take a step back and remember that the first black congressman from Maryland and the first in the 7th District was the Honorable Perrin J. Mitchell, and he was a champion for the people as well. He was a person who not only went to Congress and stood on his principles, but came back into the community every day and walked the streets in West Baltimore and lifted people up. And to me, that is also an example, in addition to Elijah Cummings, of what the 7th District needs.
Congratulations.
Can we get a
Senator Carter? We're so happy to support you.
Can we get a Jill on the Hill?
Okay.
Sorry. Yes.
3, Jill.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah.